It's my bad. Welcome inside Studio H here in LA. Paul Pierce, Jalen Rose, special guest joining us all day today. Brian
Wendy.
Wendy's here. I love it. My name's Michelle. We'll get you set for a doubleheader on our air tonight featuring two of the top three teams in the league. But first, we're the official network of the Cleveland Cavaliers, and we need to start
and the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah, we need to start talking about them. They have lost 7 of their last 10 games, giving up nearly 118 points a night in that stretch. After Tuesday's double-digit loss in San Antonio, Ty Lue said he's going to make a change to the lineup. Wendy, I want to start with you. Is that what it's going to take to make a difference in this
Well,
team?
it's a good place to start, Beads, because the lineup that they've been starting ever since Isaiah Thomas entered it is one of the 3 worst lineups in the league.
Okay.
And last night, Ty Lue made an interesting decision that certainly had my phone blowing up, which is 6 minutes to go, 5-point game. The starters just got worked over in the third quarter like they've been worked over the previous couple of weeks. He puts the starters in to finish the game. They get wiped out by really San Antonio's B team. They're missing
Kids.
a bunch of their players. And, you know, it's like, wow, why would he do that? J.R. Smith, Jay Crowder, Isaiah Thomas defensively just getting destroyed. He did say after the game he's going to make changes, and that's what the front office has been pushing for. They really want him to shake things up. So Friday against Indiana, we'll see what he does.
I'm not sure where they go from here because, I mean, what do? Do you put Jose Calderon back in the lineup? Because obviously they had their best stretch when he was there. I know they weren't playing quality opponents at the time, but they were winning games. I just don't know if shaking the lineup does anything different. Maybe put Tristan Thompson out there, a guy who can guard the pick and roll a little bit better, maybe defend the rim, rebound a lot better. Go with him and Love because that's what got them to the finals over the last couple of years with those two. So, but in doing so, I'm still not so sure it turns things around for them.
I'm sure, and you alluded to it, the change has to be starting Tristan Thompson. It's not going to be Isaiah Thomas. You can't bring Isaiah Thomas off the bench because you're actually going to need his offensive productivity. And here's a couple of reasons why you bring Tristan in the game. For his rebounding, for his ability to do the intangibles, and also to increase his trade value. Right. If you're going to move him, you can't move him at this point of the season and get some sort of value of a productive player in return by the way he's playing because he's having a bad season based on the way he's performed over the last couple of seasons and his cap number.
I agree with both of you. I think they should do that. Here's the problem. They're about ready to trade Channing Frye to the Sacramento Kings if this trade goes through for George Hill. That means they'd have no backup big man if they start Kevin Love and Tristan Thompson together other than rookie Ante Zizic, which I don't think he's ready to play. Their limitations on their roster are definitely an issue, which makes me think that there's a second move that the Cavs are planning to get another center or another big man in there if they're going to go to that lineup change. But I agree with you. Also, J.R. Smith, great guy. I love him. I respect him. Can't play him anymore. He's got to come out of the starting lineup. And whether you put in Kyle Korver or my feeling is rookie Cedi Osman. And the reason I say that is because at least Cedi Osman will play hard. One of the problems with this group right now is they're not playing hard.
You know what? I've heard the rumors of these trades, George Hill, possibly DeAndre Jordan.
Preach, I know where you're going.
Let's just say they do get these two. I still don't think that pushes the needle.
Enough.
I don't think that pushes the needle. I don't think you're better than Golden State or the Houston Rockets or maybe even OKC when you do that move. So if this is not a move that you can't say, oh, they can get over the top right here, such as a DeMarcus Cousins, then you like, okay, they got a shot. If it's not a move like that, I think you stand pat.
Yeah, at what point do you, as an organization, as a team, just sort of look at what you have and what you could potentially bring in and say, none of this is enough, we just need to blow everything up and start over, and if that means something drastic, it means something drastic, because as constructed, that won't get it done.
Well, I certainly think that they can do some things to tweak the roster. By the way, PP, no talks with the Clippers right now. So DeAndre Jordan, Lou Williams, I see those rumors out there. Cavs aren't talking to him, okay? What really disturbed me about last night watching the game and talking to some people who are within the organization, LeBron was dispirited down the stretch of that game. So many times we've seen in his career where LeBron's come into a game that could have gone either way in the fourth quarter, and he's carried him home. Maybe he gets him there, maybe he doesn't. He comes in that game yesterday with that lineup, he doesn't even hit the gas. And that's really concerning for the Cavs.
Well, the main lineup change that's affecting the Cavs is that they traded Kyrie Irving premature. He had 2 years remaining on his deal. LeBron James had 1. You hold on to the young asset and see what happens, a la Shaq and Kobe. But with that being said, you change the lineup to just try to infuse some enthusiasm, a different level of emotion. Because the way this team is playing, they're not going to win the East like this. You're talking about Houston and Golden State. They won't even make it past Toronto the way this team is playing right now.
What is the deal with Kevin Love? Why are we seeing things like we saw last night with Jay Crowder walking over his body, not helping him up?
Wow, that was an incredible moment. Out of everything that you've seen, and not only that, he kind of looks down at him and is like, nope.
Yeah.
Then kicked him right
like it's
there.
personal.
Like kicked him on his foot.
Kicked him.
In the Cavs general manager's office, it was David Griffin's first, and then now it's Kobe Altman's. There's a photo from their championship season where Tristan Thompson's laying in the paint, and all 4 of his teammates are reaching to pick him up. There it is right there. That's 4 feet by 5 feet in the Cavs. Every conversation Kobe Altman has in his office about trades, that's what he's looking at. Now, granted, it's a time and place sort of thing. But when the Cavs are right, that's the kind of team they are. That was the group that won the championship. You see stuff like that. Another thing, Kevin Love, no matter what you think about him, if you think that maybe he doesn't, defend as well, some people think he might be a little bit too soft for being a big man. He's been a professional. He was involved in trade talks last year. He didn't complain about it. He came to work the first day of training camp, just got named to the All-Star team. He gets called out over the weekend by his teammates. Right. He comes and takes it and says, hey, we're going to try to spin it forward. He shows up last night and plays. He's not the one complaining. He's handling it like a professional.
Is there any chance that he would want out at some point, knowing this team's not going to win another trophy and his pride at this point is at stake?
He says no, which is the professional thing to do.
Right.
But I'd love to know what he really feels and what he says to
Well,
him.
here's the difference between struggling teams and really good teams. And Paul won a championship. He'll tell you this. When you're on a really good team and you make a mistake, people can call you on it. And then you're like, my bad. But when you're on a bad team, it becomes an argument, a disagreement. And you saw a winning team, a championship-level team, rush to help their teammate up. This Cavs team, you saw Crowder walk over Kevin Love. Yeah. And that's not the first time we've seen a player on that team do that to Love. So this is why you have to make a move.
This team went to the finals 3 straight times. Where's the love lost? I mean, these guys have been together. Maybe not Crowder, but certainly LeBron. He was there. When you're on a good team, you're having fun. I've been on teams where guy ran the whole length of the court to come pick me up. I'm talking about, that's a team right there. Now, why should this team feel like they're in that place, even though they're struggling? They have to feel somewhere inside that, look, we're the best team in the East. We can get back to the finals. Let's not worry about regular season. There's times where they're coasting, but guys, we'll pick it up when time's necessary. But you don't have that feel that they can do that this year.
They're 29th defensively. They're one more bad quarter from being 30th defensively.
Yikes.
I mean, even when they give effort defensively, they're a bad team defensively. Right now, they're not giving effort. They don't have the margin for error to push themselves. Last year, they were the 22nd defensive team, but they were coasting. So in the playoffs, when they hit the gas, they moved up to being a halfway decent defensive team. This year, look at where they are. You can't all of a sudden improve to 15th by just by playing harder, and that's an issue.
It's so funny because if I'm Kyrie Irving, I'm sitting on my couch with some popcorn. Like, look, I jumped off the Titanic.
He did, and as a matter of fact, that's why he's liking videos of LeBron James yelling in the huddle at an assistant coach, because this is probably why he wanted to leave, to be in a situation where it was all about the guys, not necessarily about only LeBron James's leadership, and then trying to figure out what everybody else is going to do.
It's ugly. It's a different kind of ugly than we're used to.
I covered the 4 years of the Miami Heat where we had all kinds of drama, right? You were in on a lot of that stuff. I've covered this team now for 3 years. All that stuff, subtweeting, issues here, issues there, midseason trades, David Blatt being fired at midseason. I've never seen it like this.
You're the ultimate Cavs and LeBron James insider. I must ask you this. With this level of dysfunction, is this making it easier for LeBron James to exit stage left, where he can now say, look at what the franchise made itself into? My hands are clean.
See, here's the thing. When the Cavs won 13 in a row in December, I would say the answer to this question would be, we have to see where things are in June. When they've lost 8 of 10 or whatever it is.
Preach to me.
Has to be where he is in June, because that's all that matters, where they are in June. That said, LeBron knows that they could have had a trade for Eric Bledsoe and Paul George. Didn't get done. It possibly could have traded Kevin Love and gotten Paul George. Couldn't get it done. And he didn't want to trade Kyrie Irving. And they had 2 bites at the apple, because after the Kyrie trade happened, they saw Isaiah Thomas's and they had his MRI, and they had 3 days where they could have pulled it back, and they still did it. Now, here's what Dan Gilbert would say if he was sitting here and being honest. He would say, I needed you to commit LeBron to next year, and then we could have done those trades. But at the end of the day, LeBron has earned the right to have options. And all the difficulties that LeBron gives you, if issues in the locker room, not committing, they're all worth it. If you have LeBron on your team, you know. And so it's a chicken and egg thing, but ultimately the Cavs are responsible. And LeBron's sitting there every day saying, I could have Paul George on my team. I could have Eric Bledsoe on my team. Right now I have a guy I've never met, Isaiah Thomas, who's a shell of himself, and Jay Crowder, who's having the worst season of his career.
I mean, Paul George on the Eastern Conference team would have been an all-star. Could have said that.